I've got it 3 times. I just like singing, I guess. Anyway, I raised Hugo Gern's back and thought I could put it here, but anyway, it's Flantech, like Flanagan, flantech.com, Patrick at. So you can email me there and for more information about different things, or if you just want to establish communications about whatever. Speaking of Sai Baba, how many of you know about Sai Baba? Oh yeah, sure. I mean, this audience, most of you would, but Sai Baba is an avatar in India who is truly an avatar, and I have a design that we put on our crystal energy bottles called a Sri Yantra, and the Sri Yantra is it's about 12,000-year-old design that is most amazing. It's made up of 9 triangles, and I can only show you crudely what it is, but Sri Yantra has like five triangles down and 4 triangles up, and basically they cross at different where 3 triangles cross, you get a perfect point, like this, and it's a beautiful symbol, and gee, I should have one. Well, I have. Well, anyway, can't show you that one. Anyway, well, I have a Sri Yantra tattoo on my arm, in case you're wondering. But anyway, all my life I've been interested in the Sri Yantra, and yantra in Sanskrit means geometric power diagram, and they say that different physical designs have power, and I've always been fascinated by the Sri Yantra, so I drew the Sri Yantra since I was a little kid, and I got better and better at it, and I thought I could draw a Sri Yantra because there are no instructions anywhere on how to draw one. But then in 1984, 85, I got a computer with a drawing program where I could draw to an accuracy of a 10/millionth of an inch, and I decided to draw a Sri Yantra on my program, and found out that the thing is, it's made up of only 27 lines, 9 triangles down, 4 up, or whatever. But the thing is, where 3 triangles cross, you get this point, this perfect point. The problem is, when you're drawing to an accuracy of a millionth of an inch, you can get 2 lines that cross perfectly with a point, but that 3rd line, if it's not exactly here, then you get another little triangle where you don't want one. See? So in other words, you're gonna have 3 lines crossing like that, creating a new triangle when they're all supposed to cross at exactly the same point. And the problem is that each triangle has a different geometry, and there are 9 of them, and they all interlace. So there are multiple points of intersection where there are 3 lines, and if you change the geometry of any one triangle just slightly, it makes every little point into a whole series of new triangles, and so it's no longer a Sri Yantra. It's not a perfect Sri Yantra. So I was going a little nutty trying to draw a Sri Yantra and on my computer, and I drew every single day for about 6 months. I would spend 16 hours a day working on a Sri Yantra, and going crazy, drawing Sri Yantras, and I'd change this triangle. And I was looking in the triangles for sacred math, sacred numbers, like the golden ratio and epsilon, different mathematical ratios found in physics and found in the universe, and so forth. The square root of 2, the square root of 3, the square root of 5. I was looking for different kind of numbers in the triangles, thinking that that there's some secret. If this triangle was based on phi, which is the cross section of the Great Pyramid, then maybe there's another triangle based on epsilon, which is found in physics, a constant found in the universe, and maybe there's another one found on hydrogen constant, or this or that, or square root of 2, 3, or whatever. And some of the things worked, and I think I found it, and then I changed a triangle, and then the ones that worked before didn't work, and it's like a puzzle, an infinite puzzle. And then I started reading on the Sri Yantra, trying to figure out how to draw one, and different people would say, well, you start with the a triangle in the center, and then you draw another triangle off of that, and another one off of that, and so forth. And that didn't work. So anyway, I found a book that said that there was one monastery in northern India where they teach how to draw the Sri Yantra, but you have to be a member of the monastery and you have to study there your whole life. Then they teach you the secret of how to draw it. And, you know, and only, you know, the pure devotees of the monastery could do all that. So I said one night before I went to bed, I talked to Sai Baba in my mind, and I said, Sai Baba, if anybody deserves to know how to draw a Sri Yantra, I do. And I said, you know, I've been celibate, and I live a pure life, and I meditate, I live out in the woods, you know, and up a road with no name, you know, and you know, animals surrounding, and plants, and meditate, and do all these things, and work in my lab, and surely I deserve to know how to draw a Sri Yantra. So I said that in my mind. And that night, Sai Baba came to me in my dream with a blackboard. Actually, it was a whiteboard. But he came to me with a board, you know, and a pen, and he taught me how to draw Sri Yantra. And the very next morning, I got out of bed, and I went in, and I drew a Sri Yantra to an accuracy of 1/10,000,000th of an inch with perfect crossings. I don't know, they may not be perfect, but they're perfect to a 10/10,000,000th of an inch, which is pretty good when you're drawing on an inch scale. You know, in other words, the diameter of the Sri Yantra I drew was 1 inch in diameter, and the crossings were accurate to a 10/10,000,000th of an inch. So that is accurate. And the thing is so that was my Sai Baba. Before that, I had been reading Sai Baba books and really loved Sai Baba and what he was doing in India, because there's an interesting story. Is Alexander Tigret, who owned the Hard Rock Cafe, to tell you something about Sai Baba. Sai Baba doesn't ask for donations to himself. He never asks. He says, "Bring me your troubles. That's all I want from you. Bring me your troubles, and I will take them away from you. That's all I want." You know, and he says, "God is love. That is all God is love. Period." And he said that's what, you know. And he says there's only one religion, and that's the religion of love. There's only one language, the language of the heart. There's only one race, the race of humanity. And he's quite an amazing being, naturally. I mean, he materializes things with it, you know, with his hands, and gives people gifts, and materializes gifts, vibhuti ash and things. And so anyway, Alexander Tigret had the Hard Rock Cafe. And what happened is he had gone to see Sai Baba, and he went in the canteen and he saw a sign that said "Love all, serve all." So he thought that was really great. So he went back and he started the Hard Rock Cafe, and he made cups that said "Love all, serve all," and T-shirts, and he sold those in his early Hard Rock Cafe restaurant and so forth. And he was also a pretty wild guy, and he, you know, was you know, doing some recreational drugs and driving crazy and so forth. And one night he was driving along, you know, Mulholland Drive in a Porsche high on something or other, went over the edge, you know, at a high speed, a straight drop down. And as the car went over the edge, he said that Sai Baba materialized in the seat next to him and put his arms around him like this. And that's all he remembered. And the next thing he remembers, he's being put in an ambulance. And the ambulance driver is saying, "I don't know how this happened, but your car is absolutely shredded into 1,000,000 pieces, totaled." And he said, "You don't have one scratch on you." He said, "This is a miracle." And so, anyway, Tigret said that, well, Sai Baba, you know, this is pretty profound what you did for me. Well, you're my partner. And he says half of everything I own is yours. And so he just made this little mental thing, and he went on, and another time Sai Baba saved his life, and another time, and so forth. But all this time he'd be going to India to see Sai Baba, and millions of people, like the last Sai Baba's last birthday, like 3 million people came to see him. And but he selects once in a while a few people, you know, to go in for a private interview. So all the time he went to see Sai Baba saved his life a few times, and he'd go over and he'd sit in darshan. Darshan just means to see someone holy. You don't even have to, you know, speak with them or touch them or receive blessing. You just have to see them with your eyes, and that's the blessing. So he goes to India for darshan, and he sees Sai Baba, and he wants like crazy to be interviewed. Sai Baba like goes right by him and ignores him. Every time he went by, Sai Baba would ignore him. And he's still building up the Hard Rock Cafe, getting wealthy and so forth, and Sai Baba's ignoring him. And finally, he sold the Hard Rock Cafe for $108 million. And 108 is the number of beads on the Japa Mala, where you meditate and say a mantra 108 times. So, which is, so that's a very special number, a sacred number, $108 million. And that was his profit. So he, 108 million profit. So he goes to India now. And Sai Baba invited him for an interview. And in the interview, Sai Baba, somebody says what Sai Baba has done for them, and then Sai Baba says to Alex or something like, yeah, I've saved your life a few times, or something like that. and Alex says, yes, you have, Sai Baba, thank you. And so anyway, Sai Baba says, what you want? And Alex says, well, I sold my business for $108 million and $54 million is yours. What would you like me to do with it? So Sai Baba said, build